Hello everyone and welcome to Harv's World for episode 17 of the Pacific Northwest. Another day on the farm. We got big things planned today. I am running a little bit late. It's 10 o'clock in the morning already, and I've been up all night hauling silage down to the biogas plant. Some of it did come through. I think it was about $200,000 that came through for payment, but then it was maybe another 250,000 liters I hauled down there, so that will show up at midnight tonight. Should be about another 100,000, I would guess, maybe 120. But right now I'm getting these cows fed, and while I was hauling all of that silage, our TMR machine was working overtime, almost filled it up. So I need to get this hauled over for our cows. Now today, we're going to start prepping field 20. Going to get that replanted with corn again so that we can make more silage, keep that money flowing. And then it's going to be time for something I'm interested in, something I'm excited about. I hope you guys find it interesting, but it's different. A little bit different, but in the end I think it's going to be pretty cool. So hang tight and we'll see what that is. Just a little bit. This shouldn't take too long. And our new John Deere harvester unfortunately is not going to work out. I moved it down to the shop and I'm going to go down there and sell it at some point here. Return it, I guess I should say. There's some kind of conflict. There's a mod conflict, I believe, of some kind, but I don't know how to track it down. If anybody knows how to track down mod conflicts, that would be great. But what was happening is, remember in the last episode how it took so much wear just doing those fields, and then of course you all saw me do the repairs on it, and so I logged out of the game. When I came back, it was completely damaged again, like all the way down to 50%. So I didn't repair it, I just let it sit. I was doing other things to get the farm up and ready for this episode, and I logged out again and came back, and when I did, it had even more wear on it. So something is telling our new John Deere harvester that it's doing an awful lot of work when it's just actually sitting around doing nothing. So I will return that, and we're going to have to replace it with something else. Missed it by that much. Oh, I was close. I was close. Let's take a look at our cows today. We're gonna check some prices. Now we're up to 174. We should be up to 200,000 liters of mixed TMR, and that's still not gonna do a lot. I mean, we're getting there slowly but surely. It's building up, but not as quickly as I would hope. And then our horses are doing good. They're all full up, and tomorrow we'll have 4 more to sell, so that's another 200,000 coming in. Now we have 60,000 liters of wheat that I'd like to get sold today, and that price is coming up, and it's already at a good price, so it could be at an even better price. And then our canola, I'm definitely selling that today, and I got to get that over to agri wholesales as soon as possible because the price is starting to drop, and I want every penny we can get out of it because we need a different harvester. And our new case tractor and slurry spreader is going to get a workout today. We're going to get them working on field 20, the big field, getting that ready for corn. And I have to say the wood chips, I know I'd heard this idea before, but the wood chips are perfect. There's no cleaning up silage anymore. The cattle conspiracy has been thwarted with wood chips. And if any of you have been watching for a while, you know exactly what I mean by cattle conspiracy. Now we've got enough canola in here that I'm gonna haul it with 2 tractors. Even though I've only got a small trailer, it's enough to make some, to compensate and learn to speak English at the same time. Because I've got a 52,000 liter trailer, that's my big trailer. And so I would have to make 3 trips with that trailer. This way I'll only have to make 2. Because this smaller trailer will make up the difference. I just won't have to run the second tractor on the next sell-off, so we should make a really good profit off this canola though. And I'm going to drive the case over to Agri Wholesales because... Oh, no, 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 no. Well, follow me sometimes has a mind of its own, apparently. Alright, let's get this set up. Zero offset. We want a behind distance of about 25. That'll do. Alright, let's get this stuff sold off. So this should be about 85,000. So all told on our canola, what, 200,000? We had 113, and we had 200. Yeah, 85, almost $250,000. 241. That is outstanding. And I don't know. We'll see. Be nice to get some comments about, you know, whether people like that sort of thing or not. We'll just shut down, let that continue loading, and let's run over to the case. We're still fully loaded here, and it's already made almost 1,000 more liters, so that machine is fantastic. If you're playing, I know it's not available to console players, but if you're playing on PC, I'll listen to that thing, man, that's so great. If you're playing on PC, that and the pig food machine are just fantastic mod. Okay, so we need to load this up. And I think this held, what was it, 22,000 liters of slurry, something like that. And you know what else we have on this beautiful new beast? We put GPS on this for the first time, and we are definitely going to be taking advantage of that. We're just going here to field 20 now. Field 20 needs lime. And that is exactly the reason that I'm going to go ahead and fertilize first. Because if you do it, if your field needs lime, what you can do is you can put down fertilizer, then you can put down your lime, and then you can seed and fertilize at the same time, and your field will be absolutely complete. It will have the two applications of fertilizer and then all you have to do is wait for it to grow. So it's nice because it gets it all knocked out at, you know, all at the same time basically. And I'm doing a horrible job of lining this up, but let's fire up our GPS. It's on. We're going to open the controls. We're going to set the auto width, and it's got an offset, and that's because I'm not quite lined up the way that I should be. Now for this, we just want line heading A plus heading, and it looks like we are at 0, so we're going to set our cardinal, and I must not have the show lines on. That's what I was looking for. Okay, it looks like it's lined up pretty well. Let's back up off the field. And now, so to enable GPS, if you've never used it before, you hit Alt-C and that turns it on and off. Then Control-S will open your control panel, and Alt-X will activate, and you can see that when the symbols on the right hand side of the screen turn green, the GPS is active. So we're going to start down the field. And these are drag hoses, so this is going to lower down to the ground and start spreading that slurry, and that's just fantastic. And yeah, we're going through the slurry pretty quick. We've almost used 4,000 liters already. But that is great. I really like the Horsch products. This is from the Horsch pack. I don't remember the exact name of it in Mod Hub, but there's lots of good stuff in that pack that isn't horribly overpriced and does a really good job. So that's pretty cool. I like the slurry spreading. I know that there are different types, like this is a drag hose type. There are some that spray it like regular fertilizer, you know, out in kind of a cone-shaped pattern, that kind of thing. But yeah, that's pretty outstanding. I like it. Like it a lot. Now, if I were to put a worker on this, what's nice is, you know, how you can, if we look at our controls, we can do help or refill, and they will pay for fertilizer and such. Well, we could set this so that they're going to refill the slurry right from this pasture, so they're not actually spending money on it. They would just be using what we've given them to use. And a big reason for not letting them is because it's a lot more expensive. At least to my understanding, it's a lot more expensive to let them pay for that type of stuff when we can get it a lot cheaper doing it ourselves. And, you know, I guess if you think about it, with the right piece of equipment, except in certain circumstances, there's no reason they should ever have to refill, as long as you're paying attention to what they're doing. There we go. That was much more difficult than it needed to be. Now I'm just going to talk about how, you know, we turn workers off to do certain things. Well, like I said, field 20 needs lime. Maybe I was thinking about turning on, letting the worker buy lime, but now that I think about it, we'll just wait and see. If he runs out of lime, then we'll worry about that later. We are going to go play in the barnyard, because this is the big project for today. Playing in the barnyard. We are going to be getting rid of some stuff, but man, are we going to be adding a lot. So let's get started. Now the first thing I want to do is clear this stuff out. So our bale barn, we're not using it anymore. I'm going to pick up some different options. I like the fertilizer and seed sheds, but I want to try something different. I've used these quite a bit, and while they're very, very good and I have no complaints with them, I just want something a bit different. So we look at our garage, and there's our bale barn. We can sell that for almost 23,000. So goodbye bale barn, you served us well. I'm actually going to get rid of the pressure washer for now. You know, it'd be nice is if there was a way to move placeable items. Like, I don't want to sell it and then have to rebuy it. I just want to move it to a different location. That would be a nice feature. And then unfortunately I gotta lose the toolbox, but that's okay because they're cheap and I can replace that pretty easily. So that clears this out. Now, one thing that I did do between episodes is that I moved all of our equipment out of these easy sheds. And I did that because we are also going to lose the easy sheds. I don't have an issue with easy sheds, but for my purposes today, they are not going to be helpful to us. And our equipment is actually stored in sheds. Don't worry, they're still there. So now we've got a nice big open yard. And let's see, one thing that I needed to do, because when I put the seed fertilizer sheds right here, is I got a bump and I want to smooth that off before we go any further. So I'm going to open up our landscaping tools, go over here, spread out our brush a little bit, and what was the control for smooth? It's just middle mouse. So yeah, we're just going to roll over that a little bit, clean up this area and smooth it out. I hope, because it's so, yeah, I think it's doing okay. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is switch to the paintbrush, and I am going to find this grass texture. I'm going to switch my brush to square like so, and I just want to make this a little smaller so that it's not all the way out in the road. And so I'm going to start putting grass, and I'm going to do this throughout the whole barnyard. Okay, so you can see I've filled all this in with grass for the most part. Just doing a little touch up here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is switch my brush back over to square, and I want gravel here. So I'm going to paint this with gravel, and I'm just going to try to square it off as best I can. And then at this point, doing the edges, I like to use a smaller brush, but then get in, we can start just doing our fill in. And that was a little far, but that's okay. We'll live with that. And then the road will only let you go out so far here, so I'm going to make my smaller brush, and then I can fill this in to make it look a little more natural, so it's kind of rounded off like so. Yeah, that's pretty good. I missed just a little tiny bit of grass. Now, one thing that's kind of nice to do when you're doing something like this is to give it a little more of a natural feel. If you go back along with a bigger brush and just kind of hang over the edge a little bit, and you can see it starts to look like the grass is creeping into your, into the rock right there. So I don't know, just little things that you can do to make this look and feel a little more natural. Okay, so far that's pretty good. Now what I want to do is I am going to create some pathways. This is going to be not that. I had a really good texture for this. I think it was this one. Yeah, and I want it smaller. So basically it's going to kind of be the flow of the farm market area for our farm, and I knew when I started this I wanted to do a path right around this edge, because if you're walking, this is kind of the scenic view area. You want people to be able to look out over the edge here. Gives it a little nicer feel. And I'm just going to run this path all the way back up toward the house, and we're going to push it right up into that sort of parking area, and then we're going to bring this path right on through, right to about here. Now I'm going to end up painting back over a lot of this grass, and I know I basically paid to have it put in there, but ultimately it serves my purpose a little bit better. So we're going to do this, and I'm going to do like kind of a little bit of a V shape here to kind of imply that people have been walking in from different directions and worn down the grass and that kind of thing. So we're just trying to give it a natural feel. And at this point, this is where I want to start placing my objects. And the reason I'm going to place my objects now is because I can work out the paths a little bit better once the objects are in place. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to find the right place to go. We're going to put in some greenhouses. Actually, that's not true. The first thing I want to do is I want to grab an apple orchard, and this is from the Fruit Orchards mod by GTX and Erebus. And while this is not going to be my primary apple orchard, what it is it's kind of a nice little park. And I'll show you what it is specifically once I've got it in place. That's pretty darn close, so we're going to go with that. And then let's run over there real quick and I will show you this. We're going to do a walkthrough of all this once it's done. But if you haven't used this particular fruit orchard before, it's pretty slick. You know, so this is going to be the parking area for our farm market here. And you know, this is just kind of like a little park where people could come and chill out before they go home, eat their ice cream or, you know, whatever we happen to have on the farm. So that's that. So now we are going to put in our actual apple orchard, and we're going back into miscellaneous, and this is from the placeable fruit trees mod by GTX. And our primary orchard is going to be apple trees, and it's going to be right over here by our barn. This area here is going to become an apple orchard. Now, when you're placing these trees, they place real nice, but they also, as you're walking through, will have the same curve in the trunk. So I like to just rotate them just a smidge as I'm going through, and that kind of makes them look a little bit different. And one more, just one more here. So that's going there. And like I said, this is an orchard, so we can't just have 4 trees. We're going to have about a dozen. So we'll put this one here, and we'll rotate it a little bit. Put this one down here, here, and here. And then I'm going to put 3 more right up against the barn here, or close to the barn. And you'll understand why here in just a second. Well, in a little bit anyway. And now all these things that I'm placing, these all generate passive income. So once they're placed, we're going to need to supply water, and we're going to need to supply fertilizer. But that's it. And then they'll start generating income without us doing much of anything else. And they don't have to be filled every day or anything like that. It's just you know, every few days you'll need to take fertilizer or manure and water back through them. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to put in, if I can find it, this was a Giants software mod. Where was that? There it is. I'm going to put a bee house in. Now, bees do pollinate apples, so it makes complete sense that we would have bees producing honey for our apple trees, and we're going to set this right back here, right there. Nice little house. It's going to provide a little atmosphere for us. Now, the next thing I want to get put in are greenhouses, and these are also Giants generated greenhouses. And what I'm thinking about while I'm putting these in is that I want to be able to maintain them, to do the water and fertilizer and all of that stuff. but leave the paths open for people to come through. And I might be overthinking it, but you know, it just seems to make sense to me. So I'm going to have a few of these right here. So as people are coming by, this is going to be the tomato side of things. I'm going to place 3. And then I want some lettuce greenhouses. That's going to be the other side over here, and I'm going to again flip around the fill points. And if you can't tell the objects on the sides of the greenhouses, that's going to be our manure and our water fill points. So kind of balance out our entryway, put a greenhouse there, and then one more right about, we need a little, yep, that's good, right there. Okay, and then there's one other greenhouse, if I can find it here. There it is. Wow. Okay, so we got lots of tomatoes. We have got plenty of lettuce, 2 different lettuce greenhouses, and now just get this lined up here, and we're going to plop one of these there, and we're going to put a second one right there. Okay, so I've got my greenhouses in place, I've got my apple trees in place. Now I want to go back to my painting, because now I can generate the paths where I think people would be walking if this were in fact a real place. So this is the door to my greenhouse right here, and I know people are going to be coming out, and right here, and we are going to run this path right up the middle here. And again, what's nice about this is it doesn't have to be perfect. If you've got little grass splotches in it or whatever, it does not matter at all, because it just gives it a natural feel. You don't want everything square. You don't want everything to just look all, I've got a perfect path, it looks just like a road, I paved this thing, blah blah blah. No, farm markets don't do that. You go to somebody's farm and they're selling stuff, you're not going to have a perfect sidewalk. You're going to have a dirt path that's just kind of been worn into the ground where people have naturally walked through. So, that's kind of the feel we're trying to get with this. And then we've got our little bee house here, so I think people would have come right down the path like this. And one thing I want to do also is kind of put just a little bit of ground around the base of each of these apple trees. Trees like this, the ground doesn't necessarily grow up right, or the grass doesn't grow right up to the root or trunk. Although it gets a little tight, it's hard to see sometimes. A little bit more, there we go. That one's done. Looks like, okay, we got all those trees. Okay. Now, there was something else I just saw. There it is. This is by Alien Jim. It's called the Witchy Well. basically it's going to be a little wishing well, so as people walk by they can toss their coins in, make a wish, and all of their dreams will forever come true. And we're going to put that right there, kind of where people would be walking through, hopefully. And I did see, what farm is a farm without a windmill? I mean, seriously, come on. So we are slapping a windmill right there, and it's perfect. Oops, stop that. Okay, now a couple last things. I think we're getting close to the end. Just a little bit more to place here, and a little bit of more painting to do. So I want more gravel, and this is going to end up being kind of a driveway. This will be, you know, my personal driveway to the house kind of thing. Like so. And you know what's nice about this, we've got the cows, we've got the horses. People want to come out on a Saturday, get some milk, some tomatoes, some lettuce, and bring the kids. They can check out the cows, you know, that kind of thing. So we're just going to run this driveway right around here. And just park it right down here along the house. Like so. Again, we don't need it to be perfect. We don't want it to be perfect. It doesn't feel right if it's perfect. Okay. Now we are cooking with some sort of gas. That's starting to look pretty good. It's taking shape. Oh, and I forgot to finish up the paths actually. So let's see. That's not it. No. This one. That's it. So we've got this greenhouse here. That's its door. This one here. And it's going to run right back out there, but then we want to go between these two, so we're going to do a path there, and people would probably cut right through here to get to this cucumber greenhouse, and of course they're going to just walk straight down here. Like so. And probably come out this door, right back out into this path. That's good. Okay, is that all of them? No, there's one left. Whee! This one here. And this path would most likely just come right around like that. And then I want to go back through with my grass one last time. And just because when you put these greenhouses in, stuff like that, it gives us this really square, unnatural feel. I know I just keep saying it's unnatural, but it is, you know, it's not, and it's, you know, it's no fault of anybody, don't get me wrong, it's just the way the game functions with placeables. Again, we don't want perfect. That's one of the reasons I'm going back through to fill this in. We don't need that square edge. We need something that looks more organic. And since we're only using water and manure, I think we could call our greenhouses organic if we really wanted to, if you're into that sort of thing. Not my cup of tea, but if that's your deal, enjoy. Although for what we spent to build this, these vegetables better be bringing some premium prices. That's all I can say. Get rid of that little corner there. We are going to lose this foundation on this windmill. That doesn't look right. Like so. Alright. Last things last. I am going to... Was that decoration or miscellaneous? It would be nice also if the mod makers could get together and sort of create the mod makers compendium of uniform. So you have fences. One fence will be in decoration, the next fence will be in miscellaneous. You're never quite sure where you're going to find it. There we go. Oh my goodness. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay. Those are the gates. These are the actual fences. So I'm going to start with a short wooden fence, and I'm going to do this over here. Now, you know, thinking about it, I don't want people necessarily just driving through the orchard willy-nilly. I want them to come in through the gate near the parking lot. So what I'm going to do is fence this off. I'm going to start with that fence there, and then we're going to use the curved heel double field gate, and this is the wooden gates, fences, and stone walls pack by Dorset mod in the mod hub. And these are pretty slick. I like them. They're really well made. They look good. And this is hinge dependent, so these will open. You can kind of see the hinges there as it swings around. Whatever side the hinges are on, that's the direction the gates are going to open. So if we have it the other way, it's going to open out into the road, and we don't want that. Now, one thing about placing stuff like this, it could be a little tricky because it's hard to see. And actually, you know, I'm going to put this right in that post, hide that post, and then it looks more natural, like it was just built that way. Okay, so we've got that. Now I think I want a medium fence to get out past that last tree. I'm going to swing that around just a little bit more. Well, let's try the long or the large fence. This is probably going to be too long though. Yeah, that's too long. Okay, we'll go back to the medium. I'm not trying to be indecisive. I just want what I want. And again, as I place this, we can stop now. Thank you. The controls and placeables is a little bit touchy sometimes too. So again, anyway, I'm going to place this inside that original post, like so. At least I'm going to try to give it a little more natural, organic feel. And one nice thing about these fences, you can sort of extend them any length that you want, and this may require that you have global company or something similar that will allow you to force placement. I really just want the fence to come out to about there, so what I can do is just place this directly on top of the other posts. I hope that's accurate, and then I've just extended it by one. So let's go take a look at our fence over here. It should be decent. It might not be perfect. Well, close enough for Harv's world work. At least for now. I'm not going to fool around with changing it at the moment. Okay. We're almost there. Oh, we have the extra large wooden fence. Okay. Again, I'm going to try to place this in this post so it looks more organic, more natural. Like so. And then I want another one of these gates. I want to make sure that the hinges are on this side so it's opening toward the cattle pasture. There we go. And you'll notice sometimes I will just line things up, and I'm sure you figured this out, but it really helps to make sure things are straight. If you can find an already placed straight edge, and we'll put that gate there. And now we need another short fence to put in there. And then I think what I'll do is that does not like that placement, but I'm going to place it anyway. So we're going to set this right about there. Not spectacular, but it'll do. So there we go. I'm not going to saw down the thing. We have got our placements. These gates open nicely in the right direction. I want that going toward the cattle pasture. And this gate should open into our driveway, like so. Last thing. I swear this is almost the last thing. We need, and so what I want to do is I'm going to put a light on either side of our gate here. One there, one there. Make sure that's well lit. I'm going to put a light right out here in the middle of the path so as it starts to get dark, people can see their way through. Put one by the hut here. And then I'm just going to intersperse a few lights down the path here. A little bit on either side. And one there, one there. We'll put some at our entry here to mark the way. That should be good. Yep, there's one there already. We'll do one about there, one about there, and one about right there, and maybe one more right there, and that'll be the last one. So there's that, and then our parking area should be lit, right? I mean, people need to be able to see where they're going, so we're going to put a couple of big old lights right in the middle of it, like so. And then last, but maybe not least, last for today, for sure, I promise you, is oddly enough, I'm going to place a few cars in our parking area. Because we can. Like so. What else do we have? Oh, we got a dirty car. And they're going to back in. Because I'm going to be lazy and not turn it around. But we'll turn this one around. Again, just giving it a little bit more of an organic feel. You know, something additional to liven things up. Oh, I wanted one of these. What's a barnyard without a hay cart, right? Just a little decor. We'll just put that right in there. And I'm not going to get crazy with the decorations here. I'm just going to throw a few little things in. Oh yeah, the proverbial wheelbarrow decoration. Mothers everywhere rejoice at the wheelbarrow decoration. In fact, we'll put another one right up here by our witchy well. Draw some attention to it. Okay, so I think that's going to be it. What's with the chainsaw, Harv? So we're going to close up our farm gate. And we're going to look at our orchard. Looks absolutely fabulous. We've got our new windmill. We've got our witchy well. We've got honey for sale. And now, before any of these will start making us money, we need to get them manure and water. And I'm going to go buy some equipment to make that happen. So I will be right back with you. Alright, so I picked up a new tractor, this gorgeous little Fendt. And a trailer. All told, it was about $35,000. And this is going to be our farm shop maintenance equipment. We've got water. We have got a trailer. We just need to fill the trailer up with manure, and then we're going to run around and I will show you exactly what happens with all of this stuff once we add water and manure to it. And I did bring the milling machine over here just for the sole purpose of loading up some manure here. There we go. Okay. Moving on. This little tractor is just enough to pull this stuff around the yard without running over anybody. I'll get our gates open already. So now, if we pull up to one of our apple trees here, we should get a trigger that allows us to fill it. How close do I have to be though? So we're going to tip our manure right in here. You see the tree gets its manure. Let's grab our water trailer. If it's going to be that finicky about manure, what's it going to do with water? Oh, and now you see the minute we give it water, the tree has apples. And man, you've just got to be right up on these greenhouses to get... No, Yes, that's right. And we've got lettuce in that greenhouse. All of these other greenhouses work pretty much the same way. And like I said, I will fill those up off camera. And watch it while you're crossing the road. And then our park here, our apple orchard, which I really think is more like a park. But it is going to pay us for apples. And if we can sneak in here close enough, get over the lip, because you know that's just the massive concrete lip there that I couldn't even lift a foot over for some odd reason. So we can dump our manure here. We'll use up the last of it because I'll have to go refill to do all the rest anyway. So we get our manure in there. Looks like that completely filled up. That's good. And then we'll swing up with our water. And you can see we now have apples on these trees also. So, if you've enjoyed this episode, if you learned something, if you found it entertaining in some way, even the last part where I was struggling ridiculously, do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe buttons. I appreciate you coming along for the ride. And until next time, y'all take care.